Today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about carbohydrates. So I know traditionally a lot of people think carbs are bad, right? That's the enemy. It's one of those fad things that have come up throughout the decades where we hated fat for a while, then we hated sugar, then just carbs in general were bad. But in any case, usually there's some sort of hyped up misconception about nutrition where every decade it seems like, or even 5 years, someone comes up with some new trendy thing to do to lose weight. Well, in any case, let's just talk about what carbohydrates are, how the body uses them, and how we're going to use them, and how we're going to manipulate them in our diet to get the results that we want. So they're not bad, first of all. They're a great energy source. Now there's certain people with certain medical conditions, you know, if you're diabetic or something, then carbohydrates are going to be viewed a little bit differently, but in any case, they're not a bad nutrient. What they are is they're an energy source. Now there's 3 nutrients we're going to be talking a lot about when we're working together, and that's protein, carbohydrates, and fat. But anyways, carbohydrates, out of the 3 main ones, protein, carbs, and fats, carbohydrates are the one that they're not essential for you to live on. If you remove all the fats from your diet, you're going to be in really rough shape, and you're not going to feel good, and you're not going to function, and your body's going to start to shut down. Same for protein. If you remove the protein from your diet, you're going to have some serious issues. But if you remove all the carbohydrates from your diet, you might feel kind of weird at first, you might kind of miss breads and pasta, but your body can function 100% with 0 carbohydrates whatsoever. It can function just on proteins and fats. And a lot of people follow that. They call it a ketogenic diet. It's pretty similar to what you'll see in a paleo diet too, except they don't go as far as to remove all carbohydrates, but you won't see any of the starchy stuff. But carbohydrates are actually a very good thing depending on your goals, and should for the most part just not be seen as a bad thing. They're an energy source. Fat, body fat that you've stored on your body, is energy that you've consumed in the past that you didn't need at the time, so your body saved it for use at a later date. Meaning if there's ever like a famine or something, or you know, back in the day when we didn't necessarily have a McDonald's on every corner, your body would save fat as a survival mechanism. So if there was a famine, if there was a shortage of food, you could tap into the body fat for energy to live off of until actual food was made available. So how do we trick our body into essentially tapping into a savings account? You know, that's the $1 million question. Body fat is energy that you consumed and didn't need at the time, so your body saved it for a time when it would need it. So we need to tell our bodies somehow that it's time to use that stored energy. We need to trick it, basically, because your body doesn't necessarily want to burn through its savings account. Your body's one goal is to survive and not die. It doesn't necessarily want to look good on the beach or fit into an outfit that you bought that's currently a little too tight. Your body just wants to survive, so it's not going to burn through its savings account unless we trick it into doing that. So the way to get your body to tap into body fat for energy is to manipulate its favorite and most convenient energy source from our food, which is carbohydrates. You want to manipulate the carbohydrate intake so that your body is persuaded into using body fat for energy. So essentially carbohydrates, when you eat them, that means, you know, breads, pastas, fruits, vegetables, all that stuff. What your body does is going to take that food in, it's going to break it down, and it's going to convert it into glycogen. That's going to get used either immediately if you're active, or it's going to be stored in your muscles for use later in the day or sometime in the near future. And from there, if you don't need it right away, and your muscles are already full of glycogen from carbohydrates you've eaten before, the leftover carbohydrates are going to get stored as fat, so that you can use them much later. So that's what we want to avoid. We want to make sure that you're giving your body enough carbohydrates to do whatever it is you're doing for the relative amount of time that we're looking at. So for you guys, it's mostly, you know, how active are you going to be that day. If you're going to be working out, if you're going to be out hiking, if you're going to be very active, you're going to see more carbohydrates than you are on days when you're just kind of laying around, you're resting, you're not doing any cardio, you're not lifting, you're just kind of taking a rest day. You don't need the carbohydrates for energy that day. So that's kind of a high-level view of what carbohydrates do in the body, the purpose that they serve, the value that they provide, and why we want to move around, why we want to change how much we take in based on our goals and based on our activity level. Now, there's no set rule as far as how many carbohydrates someone should eat. It's all relative to the individual, their goals, and how active they are. So that's why these customized approaches that we do here are actually going to work. Someone like myself who has a decent amount of muscle and is larger than Liz, for example, is going to need more carbohydrates just to kind of get through the day, an average day. So it can't be, there can't be a cookie cutter blanket statement that I can make that says here's how many you should have. It's something that we're going to establish over time while we work together. So I hope that makes sense. But if you guys have any questions about either the nutrition aspect of the program or the fitness aspect, if you have something that you want me to talk about in one of these little posts, just let me know. But hopefully that clears up a little bit of what carbohydrates are doing in the body, why they're not bad, why we should have them for the most part. So post any questions that you've got in the comments on this video. Talk to you guys soon.